Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. I am back from vacation and boy has my garden changed. So Dawn told me that we had two pretty bad rainfalls with a lot of wind, and it really did take a toll onto my hydrangeas. So I'm just going to share with you the good, bad, and ugly of what's going on in my garden right now because I've got a lot of cleanup to do. I'm going to make sure these blooms kind of dry out a little bit and they might perk up back on their own, but let me show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see, look at how gorgeous this tree was before. I had some broken limbs. I'm gonna have to come back with my Felco pruners and prune some of them back. So I don't know when it rained yesterday, but you can see like all the water kind of falling off these blooms right here. They're really heavy, but look how big this bloom is compared to my hand. It is so big and gorgeous, but it's just really, really heavy. So I don't want to come back and prune this one just yet. I'm going to let it dry out and see if it perks back up. But you can tell that I did have some that are broken off right there, and I'm going to have to come back and prune those because they're never going to make it. But yeah, some limbs are pretty broken, as this one is right over there too. Isn't it crazy like what 1 week can do? I see some stink bugs. Do you guys ever have stink bugs in your garden? I see them every now and then. I don't think I have a bad problem of it. But yeah, I mean, these blooms are just so big and they're just kind of flopping over right now. So we'll see if they'll ever dry out and plop back up. And they may not. Like a couple of years in a row, I had to come out and I had to just like cut them all off because they were just drooping and making the tree structure really have a hard time keeping everything up. But yeah, there you go. Some of them are super tall, as big as the house. And some of them are really drooping and really heavy right now. So it's still really hot here. It's still humid. It's not as hot as it was, but I have some things that are surprising me that I haven't seen before. These blooms off my sun hosta are blooming. I just really love the blooms on these sun hostas right here. And you could see like they have like kind of taken their toll from this heat as well, even though they're sun hostas. I still think they probably fare with a little bit more afternoon shade. The verbena is still going strong. Everything still looks good. I'm glad we got water. I mean, we really needed the rain, but just when it rains so hard and it's so windy and it just takes a toll on all these really heavy plants that have big blooms. Well, see what else we can find going on in here. Rose bush needs to be pruned back again, but I see some new blooms on it. That's exciting. Look at all the bees on this plant, the blue salvia. I'm telling you guys, like this, the bees love this plant. I could come back in and like prune everything back right now if I wanted to, if it got too like crazy on me. And my whatever you call it there, one of those irises is all bent over from the rain and bloom, so that could use a plant support right there as well. I can come in and deadhead some of this on my hydrangeas. Butterfly bushes could be pruned back. And you guys, I'm not loving this plant at all. This is the lilac crush, and it's just too much green. So I'm gonna do something different with that in the fall. I'm not liking it at all. I thought that was gonna be like my big centerpiece. And look, it's just nothing but a big blob of green. I hate to do that, but you know, if you don't like it, there's so much more things that I could put in there that will do really pretty. My salvia that I grew from seeds doing good. And I got some gumfrena that's popped up that I didn't think was going to do well. So I had like a whole row of gomphrena that I did from seed, and I had it all the way through here. So some of it's popping up. I can come back and deadhead some of these 1 in a million, 1 in a melon coneflowers. So yeah, I just got like lots and lots of stuff to do right now. Look at that hydrangea tree. It's still beautiful, but boy, did it, like the wind did a big number on it. So I look like I've got a jungle over here on this west side garden. I have little butterflies or moss all over the place. But I'm just not in love. It just does not give me enough color on this lilac hibiscus. And they're messy, so unless you're wanting to deal with the mess too, the blooms fall to the ground, as you can see there. Need to come back and deadhead all of these. So yeah, I've got my work to do in this garden. Look at this one. Look how much the wind has brought it down. Plus its heart. Look, it's beautiful though. They're I can cut these and bring them inside, but they're still too soon for them to dry. Probably like the first part of August was the best time to prune some of them back to save them. They do really, really pretty when they're dried for your Christmas trees as well. And this is where I did the red hot poker. This one's like it's struggling a little bit. I don't know. I don't even know if that one's gonna make it. Look how nice this one looks. And this one just looks too wet. I planted 3 though. Oh, the other one's back there. So I don't think that one's gonna make it. Doesn't look like it anyways. Unless the root system's still doing pretty good. Roses, I've got not a lot of new foliage on that. And then I got a new bloom over here. Just not as big as I like them to be, these little blooms. I think it's just so hot here and we don't get any kind of cool nights, and I think that the bigger blooms like some cool nights. So maybe in the fall we'll get a little bit more bigger blooms. Little clematis is still blooming. The one against the wall up there has still not bloomed yet. It may not this year, we'll see. And then over this way, this is what the other side of the cottage garden's looking like. I did notice that my one hydrangea down here, the pufferfish, is doing really, really good. But look at this agapanthus. It's doing really, really pretty. It really took off with a lot of rain. I thought I heard Sasha whining. And I got another one right here that looks really pretty. Look at the growth on that. Isn't that pretty? I do love this color. And then this one right here is doing really, really good. The pufferfish. Look, still no blooms on my Joe Pye weed, or what do you call this? Butterfly weed. Still no blooms. Second year on that. The one that Miss Eileen gave me is blooming down there. This one right here. But it was almost blooming when she gave it to me. Daylilies. Rose of Sharon's doing really pretty down here. Look, it's rained so much I'm getting fire ants again. Can you see those? Rose of Sharon looks really good. I do have some dahlias that need to be staked up. If you can see that dahlia right there. Need to stake it up. And then my fence down here got broken. I don't know if you could see this piece right here, but the deer must have tried to come in on that one. Can you see the lines, the fishing line right here? So We can definitely get through that. That's broke. So let's come back on the front. I've got a lot of pruning that I have to do on the front. A lot of the flowers have overgrown. It's the concrete edging, Baptisia. This is what those little seed pods look like when you let it to go. They're still not rattling yet. But look at some of that growth right in there. It looks not very attractive, does it? I think I've got an infestation of worms. Look, do you see those? Ugh, they're like all over it, you guys. This is why it's really, really good to come out and look at your plants often. So the BT is really good for this, these little caterpillars. And it just gets the caterpillars and nothing else. So we'll come back and put BT on that. I could actually probably prune it all the way back now if I wanted to. You can see my big giant orange marigolds that I did from C2. I don't like marigolds, but these are a little bit different and really pretty. And the wind just knocked them all over too. They're just all laying on the ground down there. So it makes a big difference when you're here and you can kind of keep up on it at least a little bit each day. So have you guys had any downpours, like because it's just so hot? Have you got anything where it's done any damage in your garden like it has mine? So I really do love this hardy hibiscus. This is the summerific, very awesome. And I like the foliage on this one. At least it's got like a dark foliage right here where it's really noticeable. A little bit, gives it a little bit more color. And then here up front, I need to come back and just really prune it up. Do you see how see the concrete right here and it's all overgrown? Look, I've got snails down there. I need to put some kind of snail bait underneath that. I'm really kind of scared to see what's underneath there. But the cashmere pink Ramina is doing really good. And honestly, guys, you can't even hardly see any of my white mini vistas anymore. The cashmere completely has taken it over. I think I only had 4 plants in here, you guys. Look how big it is. I'm kind of bummed. I do like to see some of this though, which I'm not seeing anymore whatsoever. That potato vine, I'm not going to do that next year. It's just completely taken everything over, and this is supposed to be a dwarf. It does not look like a dwarf to me. So that's all I really see is pink verbena up here right now. These containers still look really pretty. This is probably my favorite one right here with the hoopla, vivid orchid, and the jazzberries, and then the angel face, Angelonia I think it's called. Looks really good, but look at this. Look at this potato vine, you guys. It's gone crazy. Just crazy. I thought the dwarf one would be a little bit more like maintained. I do love me some sun impatiens, you guys. Like, look at how gorgeous all these are. And the caladiums are doing really, really good. I got some Gumfrina there in the front. Doing absolutely gorgeous. I probably didn't need the Gumfrina, but Dawn gave it to me. So I planted it in there. It's a little bit of a filler there. I pruned this back a little bit since you guys have viewed my garden. I think it looks a little bit better. Now I can plant something underneath there. Gives me some more planting room, doesn't it? So I wanted to mainly come over here and just show you, like, look at all my dahlias. They're just completely knocked over onto the sidewalk. Some of my sprinter boxwoods still are all pushed over from the wind and rain. They usually stand back up. I have a couple of stuff over here that needs to be planted. That's my next project. But yeah, I'm gonna have to come back and prune some of this and then put some plant support. So that's something that's gonna have to do this coming weekend. Look at these. So the more you prune all this stuff back, the better it does, the more blooms that you have. And I don't know if you know, like, see how this is pretty sturdy and it's not like wonky, like up here? That's the time that you can go ahead and cut this. Let me show you one that maybe not be. Do you see how this one's kind of still bending? Let's go over here. That one's probably ready. The bee on this. You see how that's kind of still like bending right here, so this one's probably not ready to be picked yet. All my Lysianthus are gorgeous. Look how pretty these blooms are. I'm going to do more of these next year. I love this blend right here. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to have to do some more of those. But when I tried to pull them back up, this one broke off. Well, this one might stand up with the plant support, or I might just go ahead and cut it and hopefully I'll get some more blooms back right here. Yeah, but everything's just way over into the sidewalk and I don't want that. So we gotta work on that. Air conditioner's on. The bees are everywhere. All kinds of pollinators on these dahlias. Dahlias. However you want to say it. All this needs to be pruned back. The roses need to be tied up onto the trellis. Go through my gate here, and then look at this, you guys. So just completely pulled away and flopped over. It's still pretty wet. So this is my hydrangea garden all plopped over onto the grass. So they're old enough, they shouldn't have to have any kind of plant supports, but see how much water still these are holding? Starting to get a little bit of pink on them, look. Isn't that pretty? That one's got some pink on it. And then I gotta show you something else too. So my hydrangea tree down here is not making it. We've always had problems with this tree right here because it always wants to tilt over too much, but it just never rooted in really good. But do you see how it's suffering? And when I pruned this back, it just was completely dead. So we're gonna have to pull that up. I do want a real pretty, colorful, like either red or orange maple right there. I think that would be pretty. And then Dawn said she came because she was watching my plants for me, especially my containers, my concrete containers, and she pruned my daisies back for me right there. It just doesn't drain really good right here. So my husband's gonna have to do a little bit more work right here so it drains out. But the deer fence here held up pretty good. Oh, this one broke off. So I was gonna bring this bloom inside and enjoy it inside with my Lysianthus. It's gonna make a little bouquet. Roses here looking good. All the boxwoods right here are up and strong. They didn't slay over like the side did. Gabrielle oak looks pretty good. Blooms are just really, really small. And like I said, I think it's just because of the heat, you guys. So I'll get bigger blooms when it cools off at nighttime. So that needs to be deadheaded. Crepe myrtles still look really good. I didn't really flop them over that much. You can see where some of the wind and rain just made such a big old mess. And cushions are all down. Crepe myrtles are pretty, but you do end up with this mess here too, as you can see. So if you don't like a mess, this might not be the tree for you to plant. But boy, is it pretty. I deadheaded almost all these roses before I left. Some still need to be deadheaded. I'm still seeing black spot. It's just so humid here. Like, I need to put some Rose RX or some neem oil on there. Grass needs to be mowed. I need to pick up Sasha's poo-poo. Containers don't look too bad. Dawn's been coming over here and making sure that they've gotten water. Of course, she told me that we got 2 bad torrential rainfalls just recently. So I do have some dahlias over there that fell and that need to be staked up too. The deer just keep eating on these roses right here, you guys. Just cannot keep the deer away from them. I don't know why they love that so much. Look at this lantana, how pretty that is. This came back from last year. The bee on it. This dahlia is really pretty too, but they're old blooms. You may have saw my video where I pruned all this cottage garden back, and you're probably just now seeing the full garden pruned back, but I still need to come back even now and prune back some more stuff. But the catmit's starting to grow back and look really pretty. I pruned this back and that's starting to put off some new foliage. That's exciting. And I treated this for budworm before, and I'm starting to get more blooms on that. And oh, this, I think I already showed you the pufferfish. This is so pretty. I do want to put a pufferfish on the west side garden. I have a lilac here, which I do really like, the lilac. Since I pruned everything back, then you could see some of the hardy geranium there. Well, this was doing good, but now it's not doing good. Look. I think that was an agapanthus there too. I'm trying to remember what this plant is. Well, it's my first one that I ever planted was this past year. I have a tag somewhere. Here it is. Ever Midnight agapanthus. So just a little bit different one. Blooms on that are pretty. I do love me some blue in the garden. All right, let's see what's looking up here. So this, yeah, just some of the coneflowers need to be pruned back. They were looking pretty good before I left, but when it does rain and it gets hot again, it's just really, really hard on the plants. Someone asked me how my tree was doing. My tree, verbena, no, it's not verbena. Yeah, I just said it, you guys. Well, anyways, it's doing good. I'll throw the name up for you. I have some tintworm on this one too. I probably have caterpillars all over here too. I just don't see them. Yeah, I do. There's one like right in there. So I'm not sure why the tintworms really love that so much. Marigolds are all, like I said, pushed over. They are a prettier marigold. These giant ones are. course, I turned my fountain off because I was on vacation. If it doesn't get enough water, it doesn't want to like pump very well. So I need to clean that out and get it started. And this container's still looking pretty good. That's what this side's looking like. These baskets are looking pretty. And then back on the side over here, so I think we pretty much covered the whole entire garden. This is what the backyard's looking like. And there's my pitiful hydrangea garden. All right, guys, I just wanted to come on here really quick and just kind of show you what the garden looks like since I've been gone for a week and after a big torrential rainfall, 2 in a row. Even though, like I said, we needed the rain, and when it rains, you guys, there's a saying, when it says it rains, it pours. And it sure does rain. It rains and pours here in Charlotte, North Carolina, Zone 8. And I hope you enjoyed this little quick video of what my garden looks like after a big rain. Just to let you know, like, everything doesn't look perfect and doesn't look perfect right now, and I still got some work to do this past week on my garden. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure, and I want to thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing my videos. It sure does help me on my videos, so I want to thank you for that. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.